Anton is a Rothschild giraffe. His 4-year-old mother Anne is also the granddaughter of his father Alexander, making Alexander Anton's grandfather as well. Rothschild giraffes have the basic appearance of any giraffe subspecies: long legs, a long neck with 7 vertebrae, and a leopard-like coat. The main trait that distinguishes Rothschild giraffes from the others is the colour of its coat. The coat is pale and thick-set when compared to the Maasai giraffe. The patches are less jagged, and anywhere below the knee is usually unmarked. Rothschild giraffes reach heights of 5.5 meters and weights of 1,200 kilos. They live in Kenya, Sudan and Uganda and are the largest giraffe species on Earth. The male giraffes can grow to up to 6 meters tall. And they have a long tongue used to clean their eyes and ears. The Rothschild giraffe is herbivorous and feeds on thorny acacia trees and other plants by grasping the leaves with its long tongue. They eat throughout much of the day and consume a daily amount of 30 pounds of leaves. The males feed from the top branches and the females from the lower branches, giving the trees a distinct appearance. There is no mating season for the giraffes. They can mate any time of the year. The gestation period is 14 to 16 months, with 1 calf being born. The giraffes often live to be 25 years old. Their predators include lions, hyenas, leopards, as well as poachers. Animal groups came to the rescue of thousands of stranded cats on Thailand's Phi Phi Island, flattened by a series of deadly tidal waves. Rescuers from the Thai Animal Guardian Association in Bangkok rounded up hundreds of scruffy and screeching felines on the tiny island, once a tourist paradise off the coast of Phuket. The rescuers say the cats survived the 10-meter tsunamis by scrambling up palm trees and buildings, while hundreds of stray dogs were washed away by the waves. The felines faced starvation and disease on the deserted tropical paradise when hundreds of locals fled the island, which now looks more like a bombed war zone. With no fresh food or water and possibly dozens of bodies still buried under piles of rubble, these rescuers were keen to ship the cats to Phuket town and hand them over to animal shelters. Rescuers feared that thousands of cats were still wandering around on the island and said that catching and registering them was likely to be a time-consuming exercise. Rescuers were also concerned about the welfare of a local cow and monkey, but were yet to track them down. These rescuers were funded by a number of local conservation groups. And did not leave the area until they had surveyed every island off the coast of Phuket to ensure that all animals, great and small, were safe. This German breeder believes he has revived the once extinct German bear dogs. Carsten Kieback takes a walk each day with his dogs. An ordinary enough event, except that he thinks his dogs were once extinct and are now one of the rarest breeds in the world. He believes there are no more than 2,500 German bear dogs worldwide. They appear to be related to Uchak sheepdogs, another rare breed. but Quebec believes that they really are a species in themselves that was extinct for about 2,000 years. The German bear dogs were believed to be hunting dogs used by hunters in what is now northern Germany. Quebec says he's a fan of the old German ways, and many years ago, some old hunters had an unexpected litter of dogs with big blue eyes like teddy bears, and that is why they called them bear dogs. Quebec believes the German bear dogs reappeared in the 1980s when one of his Saint Bernards had puppies with a sheepdog. These puppies seem to be a completely new breed. Quebec believes that the mother and father held long passive genes of the German bear dog that finally appeared. The dogs are bigger than their relatives, the Karelian bear dogs, and eventually grow up to a size of 80 centimetres and weigh about 80 kilos. A 62-year-old man suffering from the early stages of Alzheimer's disease says that since this dog Bella came to live with him, his life has been transformed. Bella is a smooth collie, the first graduate of the Alzheimer's Aid Dog Project. The medium-sized black and white dog is much more than a guide. She is a companion who gets him out of bed on days when he does not want to get up by licking him or pulling off the covers. Though there are projects around the world that have trained dogs to assist caregivers for Alzheimer's patients, this endeavour is the only one that also pairs patients and animals. The major problem with Alzheimer's sufferers is their feeling of seclusion and isolation. And Bella helps boost their self-image. Bella helps family members as well, reducing their stress and bringing them together through their cooperation in training her. The dog is also equipped with a global positioning device, so that if its owner is gone for a long time or he forgets the home command, the family can pinpoint the location. They can also dial a special phone number that sends out to Bella a high-pitched tone, signaling the dog to bring its owner home. Early-stage Alzheimer's patients can lead a normal life with the dog. Without the dog, they would constantly be in life-threatening situations. Statistics show that patients not found within 12 hours of getting lost will probably turn up dead. Family participation is also vital in these projects, as while the owner is responsible for Bella's care, an Alzheimer's patient can often forget to walk and feed their dog. Hundreds of Orinoco crocodiles, also known as Crocodilus intermedius or caimans, have been released at the biological reserve of Hato El Frio in the state of Apur, 470 miles west of Caracas. The Orinoco crocodile, South America's largest predator, is one of 10 of the most endangered species in the world. To try to fight their extinction, conservationists have collected thousands of caiman eggs, raised them in captivity, and then released them into the wild to try to guarantee the survival of the species. The release of caimans is the fruit of hard labour, a lot of work from the moment these animals are born until they get to be a metre long. That's when you find if they are capable of defending themselves in their natural environment. It is illegal to hunt Orinoco crocodiles today, but this was not so between 1930 to 1960, when their skin was highly sought. Almost the entire population was wiped out, and little recovery has been made since. Orinoco crocodiles are still hunted illegally. The crocodile's eggs are removed to be eaten. Juveniles are sold as pets, and adults are killed out of fear. Their fat is used as a painkiller, their teeth to ward off evil spirits, and other parts used as an aphrodisiac. However, various breeding centres throughout Venezuela continue to successfully produce caimans and reintroduce them to their natural environment. Many conservationists consider this to be the greatest possibility for the survival of the species. This is Thailand's most successful tiger breeding zoo. They say that their success is largely based on a breeding scheme that has to be seen to be believed. The program began in 1997 when creative zookeepers decided to try using a nursing pig to replace the mother of an orphaned tiger cub. They were surprised to find that not only were the pig and its offspring happy to accept the cub as a member of the family, but the cub grew up calm, unaggressive, and more suited to life in captivity. Now all of Sriracha's 300 Bengali tigers are raised in this way. Taken from their mother at a week old, their eyes are still closed and the move does not disturb them. Then for the next 2 months, they live alongside the pigs, believing the sow is their mother. Visitors to the zoo admit that the sight of 2-week-old tiger cubs suckling alongside piglets is a bizarre one. Even more surprising is the sight of piglets happily playing with a fully grown tiger. Apparently, tigers who go through this program will never attack a pig. This is despite the fact that they only spend the first 2 months of their lives living with them. Zoo Secretary Nipa Chirata Pichiat says no pigs have ever been killed by tigers since the program began. They play with them like friends, like brothers, like sisters. They stay together and show friendship. This program has meant the tigers are more manageable and safer for human contact. For tourists who visit the nursery, the reward is the photo they can have taken with a petting-friendly tiger. Osira is a 2-week-old dromedary camel. Here at Berlin's Friedrichsfeld Zoo, Osira galloped and played in its pen with the adult camels for the first time. Zookeepers were surprised to see her, and the birth apparently took place with no complications overnight. Adults and children alike visited the park after the Easter holidays and were thrilled to see this little camel, who was integrated into the herd after only 1 week. Catherine Spiegler, who was responsible for camels at the zoo, said the herd accepted her immediately. There was only one male adult camel who had to be separated from the group. Osira, who was still a little shaky on her feet, had to be separated from one male who was playing a little too rough with the young baby and hit her with his front legs. Being a dromedary camel, Osira has one hump and is native to northern Africa and Arabia. The animals can grow to a height of 2 to 3.5 meters, and during dry seasons can lose up to 27% of their body weight without dying of thirst. They recover that weight in 10 minutes of drinking. The gestation period for these camels is between 365 and 440 days. Osira's birth was happily anticipated, as she was the last baby of the herd's old stallion, who later died. With each olive ridley turtle laying an estimated 120 eggs, large coastline stretches of India's eastern coastal state of Orissa are packed with hatchlings. Wildlife enthusiasts are engaged in saving thousands of these endangered baby olive ridleys who are taking their first tentative steps towards the sea. The Orissa state government and environmentalists have joined hands to make the beach a safe place for nesting. At least 40 to 50% of the eggs are lost due to beach erosion caused by strong summer winds and high waves. Volunteers and residents of the area keep a close vigil over the nesting season. The young turtles take to the ocean currents for foraging grounds and return to breed after 7 to 15 years. Studies say only 1 out of every 1,000 hatchlings normally reaches adulthood. The olive ridley turtle, which can grow up to 75 centimeters in length, is found in tropical regions of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. Such large concentrations only occur at a few sites in the world, with Orissa being one of the most important. But if Orissa is the turtle's largest nesting ground, wildlife activists say it is also their biggest graveyard. Though protected under India's Wildlife Protection Act, over 50,000 turtles over years have either been mangled by fishing trawler propellers or suffocated in gill nets. The government has declared this whole nesting area a marine sanctuary and has banned mechanized trawlers. Besides that, it is also urging local fishermen to include turtle-excluding devices in their fishing equipment. This 6-month-old elephant orphan, named Sweet Sally, was airlifted to the David Sheldrick Orphanage in Nairobi when it lost track of its mother. When the elephants were released into Meru National Park, Sweet Sally's mother is said to have run, leaving her half-year-old calf behind. The Kenya Wildlife Service, in charge of the elephant transfer, sheltered Sweet Sally overnight while they tried to locate her mother, but had no luck. From then on, Sally had to be considered an orphan. Sweet Sally is weak and traumatised, and Daphne Sheldrick from the David Sheldrick Orphanage thinks it will take 3 months for Sally to grieve the loss of her mother. She drinks a lot of water due to dehydration, but refuses to feed on the special milk formula that Daphne gives to all the orphans.
Filarial worm.
After a few days, Sweet Sally was getting along with the 3 other elephants she shared her new home with. But those at the orphanage are going to have to do their best to encourage Sweet Sally not to give up. Although Sally is the same age as Mawia, she is much weaker than the other 6-month-old elephant orphan found in Uganda and airlifted to the orphanage. Daphne Sheldrick has dedicated more than 30 years of her life to raising and reintegrating orphaned elephants back to the wild. She has also had some success with orphaned rhinos, including Magnum and Magnet, who are both black rhinos. The orphans stay with Daphne in Nairobi until they are between 1 and 2 years old. Then they are transported to Tsavo East, where they spend their weaning year before being reintegrated into the wild. They're sent to Sweetwaters National Park, which is a touch more remote, the theory being the elephants will have more space and will be unlikely to bring any trouble to the local community.